In this video, I'm going to review the October 2025 BTO. Let's talk about Fernvale Plains. This project is bounded by Fernvale Drive, Fernvale Link, and Fernvale Street. The project comprises of 5 residential blocks ranging from 23 to 26 stories, including 1 rental block, and 4 residential blocks with a total of 1,037 units of community care apartments, 2-room flexi, 4-room, and 5-room flats. These flats will be offered as standard flats with 5-year MOP, and it is also on shorter waiting time program with waiting time of less than 3 years. In terms of the on-site facilities, unfortunately, this project will only have a preschool, but of course, as usual, there will be a children's playground, fitness station, and a hard court. Now, let's talk about the pricing. For CCA, the price starts from $59,000 before grant, so that's very good. For 2-room flexi, the price starts from $162,000 to $244,000. So this is definitely one of the affordable option. But unfortunately, because there are only 100 units of 2-room flexi, all of them goes to senior. So there's no allocation for singles at all for 2-room flexi in this development. For 4-room flat, the price starts from $344,000 to $472,000, which is definitely one of the most affordable option in this batch. If we compare it with nearby resale price, the price surrounding the area is already like 600 something, so you're looking at about 34% gap. So I think that's helpful if you want to sell your unit after MOP later on. And for 5-room flat, I think the price is also still reasonable because it starts from $466,000 and it goes up to $617,000. But if you can see, the gap between 4-room and 5-room is not that much. So I think this is still very good. And because this is a standard project, there is no subsidy clawback. And as mentioned, the waiting time also is shorter with 32 months only. Now let's talk about the site plan. Okay, so this is the site plan for Fernvale Plains. It is indeed a huge plot because it's a mega project. It has over 1,100 units. So basically, the orange one is 5-room, yellow is 4-room, these pink ones are CCA, and then this light yellow is the rental flats. The peach one is the 2-room flexi. What I like about this development is because I think they have a huge land plot so that the gap between one block to another is quite healthy. So it's not like you're really seeing each other very closely. Like there's enough gap in between towers, so that's good. Now let's look at the number of stories. So the highest is 26. But then you also have blocks where the highest floor is level 23. And the reason why we want to know how many level there are is because we want to check whether the lift ratio is still reasonable. So here for block 480A, you have 5 lifts that will be shared across 12 stacks, which I think is still okay because the highest level is 20 something, right? So yeah, I think this is still okay. And for another block 482A, this is about 11 units, I think, and it is sharing 5 lifts. So I think that's still a healthy proportion as well. Now do note that this part is actually the expressway. So HDB already put a multi-story car park so you don't face directly to the expressway. Yeah, but just take note that this is actually the expressway. If you want to have like a nice view, so probably like this one, because this part is reserved for park. So probably you will face a park first before you see the next high-rise residential development. Another option probably would be here because this is facing the primary school, so at least it's a low-rise building. Just take note that this area is still under development, so you can expect some construction noise and also dust for several years down the line because you know, as you can see, there are many sites that are reserved for future development. Now let's talk about the location. Okay, so this is the map that HDB gave, and then as we can see, Kupang LRT station is just nearby, which is about 500 meters according to Google Maps, so definitely within walking distance. If we check on the Google Map, this is the corresponding plot, which is right over here, so definitely quite near to the Kupang LRT station. And then nearby, there's also a Sengkang supermarket. So even though the on-site facility for this BTO is only a preschool, But no worries because you have a supermarket just nearby within walking distance. If you like outdoor activity, the Sengkang Riverside Park is just over here, so it would be good for you to maybe have a jogging in the morning or to cycle or maybe take your dog for a walk. For more amenities, if we zoom out, actually Selitar Mall is probably a short bus ride away, or you can also take the LRT. If you want more food options, Jalan Kayu is also nearby. You can just take the LRT to Tanggam Station, so which is like one stop away, so it's quite close. Then you can find more eateries alongside Jalan Kayu. And of course, for more amenities, you can take the LRT to Sengkang Station, which is about 3 stops, where you can find a big mall, more amenities. And if you need healthcare support, Sengkang General Hospital is also quite close, which is about 2 LRT stops away, because I think the nearest one is Changlim Station. And also, if you want to go for a swim or you want to play soccer or something, Sengkang Active SG Sports Center is just nearby. Think you can just take a short bus ride away or maybe just cycle there. In terms of school options, as you can see in this map, there are quite a lot of primary and secondary school within the 2-kilometer radius. So I wouldn't be worried about where to put my kids to school. As you can see, even across the street, there's a primary school nearby. There are other school options around the area, so that's good. This is what I personally like about Sengkang area, because even though it is admittedly very far from city center if you work there, however, objectively, if you stay at home, there are quite a lot of facilities and amenities for your family to live a simple life. Maybe you don't get a lot of nightlife, obviously, but at least like for a simple lifestyle, this is actually more than enough in my opinion. I do have to point out that this land plot is immediately going to face an expressway over here. So if you manage to get a queue number, just try to make sure that you don't pick a block that is directly facing the expressway, because it's going to be quite noisy and dusty as well. And then another watch out is the land plot next to it is where another BTO is being built. So, and then if you notice, there this land plot next to it is also still empty. I think sooner or later this will be another residential building. So do expect that there will be some construction noises in the future. Even the plot like opposite it seems like they are going to build something later on. I know that it's quite far, but probably you can still hear the noises. But I think overall, this is still a solid budget option if you don't mind living far away from the city center. Okay, so what do I like about the project? I love that it is within walking distance to an LRT station. So even though it's LRT, but it's still a train station, right? So you can commute easily to work or to school, etc. The price is also relatively affordable in the October BTO lineup, so it's considered budget friendly. And I also appreciate that there are a lot of school options which will be very helpful for families and also can be a selling point when it's time for you to sell the flat later on. Even though the BTO project location is far away from city center, but it does have good amenities surrounding the area. If you like an active lifestyle, as mentioned, this is also near Sengkang Riverside Park and also Active SG Sports Complex, so that's good. There are also amenities like several malls, even though you will need a bus ride or a train ride, but it's still relatively nearby. For seniors, you'll be happy to know that this project is senior friendly because it has 200 units of CCA, health and also community services. And I also appreciate that this project only has a 5-year MOP, because I think nowadays it's quite rare to get a standard classification and nearby train station. Hopefully, HDB moving forward will continue to just keep everything standard if it's only near an LRT station. So on the other hand, what don't I like about this project? Well, if you have an allergy towards LRT, then this project might not be for you, because that's the reality, right? You either need to take a bus ride to Sengkang MRT station or you take the LRT to Sengkang MRT. And having been in the area before in the past, Sengkang MRT station honestly is not the most comfortable station if you want to switch from LRT to MRT, vice versa, especially if you have a stroller or if you have a wheelchair. So please take note if, let's say, you or maybe your family member required a special arrangement, because the lift queue is always very long. I mean, even compared to Punggol MRT station, I think you have to experience it yourself, then you know what I'm talking about. If you are planning to apply for this BTO and then you either have a baby on a stroller or you have elderly family member on a wheelchair, before you apply for this project, seriously, go to Sengkang MRT station and then take the LRT to Kupang on a peak hour during weekdays. You experience it by yourself, then you know what I'm talking about. And then another downside would be potential construction noise and dust from surrounding areas. I think when I say potential, I'm just being very nice lah, because sooner or later, given the empty land plot surrounding the area, sooner or later it will be developed. So that is something that you need to take into consideration. And then some blocks of this development will face the expressway, so that is also something that you need to manage. Another thing that I don't like about this project is that I don't understand why they only allocate 100 units of two-room flexi when HDB knows at the same time seniors needs to be allocated 40% of two-room flexi or at least 100 units. If we play by that rule, then this would mean that two-room flexi in this particular project, every single one of them will be allocated for seniors. There will be none allocated for singles, which sucks. In summary, I think this project is a textbook budget BTO. Why do I say that? Because it has an affordable entry price. It is close to transport node. There are a lot of schools nearby. However, it is far away from city center. I think personally, this is a solid option if you are looking for a budget-friendly BTO in the October lineup, especially if you have a family. Obviously, you cannot expect to have a high profit if you do sell this apartment after MOP. You can't expect to be a millionaire if you buy this BTO. But I think if you are just looking for a house that you can start your property journey with, I think this is actually a good option. To support my work, you can give a one-time tip by pressing the thanks button, pick the amount that you want, and click buy and send. Or you can also press the join button for exclusive contents and monthly membership. Your support means a lot to keep us independent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!